Breaking news in the trial of Alec Murdaugh. The state has arrested their rebuttal case. We heard from a number of witnesses today, many we've heard from already. Our Olivia Wild joins us live from outside the Colleton County Courthouse. And Olivia, the defense took up argument with the rebuttal case this morning.
Riley, good evening. You said that right. We are nearing the end of this trial. Of course, the state resting. All that's left is a jury visit to Moselle. Not cross-examination. That's what we heard all day today. The final arguments and then jury deliberation. So let's talk about today. We heard from 6 witnesses. This was against the defense's wishes. They actually asked Judge Clifton Newman to limit the number of rebuttal witnesses the state was able to call. They started with Ronnie Crosby. He was a friend of Alec Murdaugh's, and the state asked him, when did he first find out that Alec was at the kennel the night of the murders?
When was the first time you've heard the defendant's latest story admitting that he was in fact at the kennels minutes before the victim?
His testimony, and it would have been when he told you that he was at the kennels, was the first time that I'd ever heard that. Integrity
remained the focus of this testimony, with defense attorney Dick Hartpullian suggesting Alec's financial crimes were making Crosby biased.
You are dead wrong if you think I've come in here and told this jury something because of money. When we're talking about 2 people who were brutally murdered, then you're headed in the wrong direction.
Thank you. Can you have a seat on the witness stand?
After Crosby, state pathologist Dr. Ellen Reamer took the stand again, sticking to her original theory. Paul's gunshot wound was not a direct shot to the head, but did enter from his shoulder.
There's no way that these features are consistent with a contact shotgun wound to the head. No.
The defense continued to push the shotgun direct contact wound theory we heard about yesterday, saying there was enough damage to Paul to indicate that.
Like I told the jury, that is not shattered.
Sheriff Smalls, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Now, we also heard from 4 more witnesses this afternoon, including hearing from South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson for the first time during this trial. I'll have more about that coming up at 6. Riley.
All right, looking forward to that report, Olivia. Thanks so much. ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams is providing new analysis of Alec Murdaugh's testimony tonight.
You watched Murdaugh's testimony. How is this "I lied all the time, but I'm not lying right now" message going to play with that jury?
Well, look, he's a very good trial tactician, is what I would say. People keep saying, what do you make of Alex Murdaugh as a lawyer on the witness stand? And my response is always, it's not about him as a lawyer. It's about someone who understands a courtroom. And what I mean by that is he's been very good on style in terms of the prosecutor asking him very aggressive questions and him very calmly saying, look, Mr. Waters, I'm happy to stay here as long as you want. I will answer as many questions as you want. And then very often not answering the exact question that he's being asked, but saying it in a way that feels like, well, of course I'll sit here and answer your questions. Look, there are definitely huge substantive problems that Alex Murdaugh has with his testimony. But if he can get a juror or 2 or more saying, I just don't think he's the type who would do that, then some of the expert testimony becomes much more important.
WJCL 22 News is covering the trial of Alec Murdaugh from gavel to gavel. If you want to be the first to hear closing arguments, find out the verdict, or watch the court case live, you can visit our website, WJCL.com.